Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you all for joining me again. This is for Wednesday, March 6th, 2024. So, markets pulled back a bit yesterday, and it's been well needed, really. So, our MMRI is below 270, but not by much, just 268. So, stocks still in a bit of negative territory at the moment, but I do expect them to have a bit of a recovery today. We've got a few things we're going through. Gold has been putting on some nice gains as well as oil. So we've got the fear index is also dropping a bit as well as the futures going into the green. So we've got the relative strength of the dollar did gain yesterday, but it's pulling back a bit, and that's giving a bit of breather into the stock market area. We're also watching the 10-year yield. So current sentiment right now, even though it ended on basically a down note yesterday, it's mixed with caution. People are cautious. However, they're still going into the markets. They've got some place to put their money into. So I expect a recovery early. And then we don't know. We will be watching J Pow does testify today. So he will be speaking at 10 a.m. So that will be the time that we'll be watching. Basically, they're looking for any clues that the Federal Reserve will start cutting rates and feeding free flow money into the market. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. We're talking about forward now, June, July time period. So we'll keep an eye on that. So going into our banking and the economy, they are talking about the treasuries falling ahead of him speaking. So everybody is looking into this. So could be some larger moves. They will be short term, and usually the first move is wrong. So, and just kind of be cautious of that. So, with that, we saw this BlackRock purchased 12,447 Bitcoin yesterday. So, they're going heavily into this. They're building their ETF, but there's also more going on. We've also got the United States government, we've been talking about this, seizing Bitcoin and that they have quite a bit of it, aside from whatever else they may be purchasing as well. So, owning cryptocurrencies, now we've got other larger governments going into it as well. We've also got in England, Hunt talking about cutting taxes in the UK with the budget, but it's also election time for them as well. So there's kind of some pressure going on. But if they cut taxes in one area, they're going to either continue the inflation or get it out someplace else because everything must, in the end, kind of even out. So we got some news from Del Monte's, a large cannery in the United States, and they're closing two of their manufacturing plants. And the reason they gave for it is really what I find striking. They said that they are pulling back manufacturing to meet with the lack of demand that they're going through. So, canned foods would have been the last thing that people are still purchasing because they have longer shelf life. So, if they are experiencing a serious drop in demand, that's a real indicator for me. We really are into the recession now. So, not at the bottom of it, I don't think. I think that's going to be determined more by jobless numbers, and we've got more to go. However, we are definitely into it now. We've got the sale of Florida condos plummeting. They were skyrocketing, super hot, overpriced, in my opinion, anyway. So, along with the increasing insurance costs, homeowners association, and then also property taxes going on with this, the sales can't keep up. So people are finding they're getting stuck with them because nobody's going to purchase those anymore. So we'll see that's the natural correction of a real market cycle. This is how things work. However, it's so over blown with all of these bubbles that it's going to be a little bit more of a painful correction coming here. So we've still got more stories coming out about the insurance. New financial crisis brewing in uninsurable US homes. So now we've got this flood of homes that are going to be coming onto the market. However, if you can't get insurance on them, in most lenders will not loan to you unless they can be insured. So What does that mean? Cash buyers or nothing. So that's also going to put pressure on the market moving forward. Yesterday, there was something very interesting that happened. There were multiple kind of disconnected internet outages. So they were Facebook, Instagram Messenger, and Threads, all having widespread outages. They couldn't get to their data. So this had nothing to do with what they're talking about, their underwater cables in the Red Sea. This is their story. The Yemen-based Houthi militants, again, let's always blame those guys for cutting the cables in the Red Sea. So we spoke about this, that it might have been the anchor from the Ruby Mar, which is sinking out there as they drop the anchor. However, that would not cause a cut. Anyone that is in the industry and understands, number one, redundancy, number two, from two specific areas, and number three, the location of those undersea cables have multiple redundancies. So it would have set slowdowns, and all of their information is on networks, actually with routers. The cables themselves are only transits. So there is something else that was going on that they're not telling us. I think it's more related to the reset that they've got that is coming forward. So, anyway, be prepared for that if there is going to be a cut in services for a more extended period of time. So, I've also taken some backlash for some of the things that I have brought up here. And we've actually got this cut out. This is actually from Military News, military.com. And they're talking about the moment of truth for the Army's chief laser weapon. So people that tell me these don't exist and I'm making things up, they can read for themselves. They've come out now saying they've got it modeled. It's called the Stryker Infantry Carrier Vehicles, outfitted with 50 kilowatt laser weapon systems. And they're trying them out in the Middle East for real, quote unquote, real world testing. They've already been doing testing on these. So, interesting article if you want to look it up, because I don't want to post this link in the description. I'm sure it will get hit. So, if you Google military news and then that title, it'll come up because it's public. So, for lava updates, got a couple of things. We had the governor in Louisiana declaring a state of emergency over the lack of police. So they've got an officer shortage. So they legalized permitless carry. And there's some very interesting ideas behind this. However, the Second Amendment originally, most states were permitless carry. But this is one more state adding into that because people have to be able to protect themselves. And with this, we have one other story resurfacing, and there's much more to this than what they put in the news. I've been researching a bit of this, but the disappearance of the MH370 flight. I can't believe it's already been 10 years, however, disappeared over a decade ago. And they're talking about what happened with this, but there's a lot of theories behind it as well. Pretty difficult to make a plane that large disappear. So at any rate, we're going to have an interesting day in the markets. And whether you're in trading or not, I wish you all a wonderful day. And if you haven't yet, please hit the like button. Until I see you again, my friends, stay free.